Welcome to the Study Abroad virtual fair. Sorry we couldn't do it in person, but it's wonderful to see you all here and to see that you're interested in the first year experience study abroad. Just so you know, I am Dr. Sarah Owens, and I am the director of the first year experience. And I'm also a Spanish professor, so I've done a lot of study abroad on my own. With students. I've actually led 3 or 4 programs at the College of Charleston. I've taken students twice to Spain, done a semester program in Cuba and a semester program in Chile. And I've also been on one of the spring break trips. I got to go on the Iceland trip to help out really with the professor. She was the leader and it was wonderful. And every single trip, I can tell you from the bottom of my heart, they're all really good. So we're going to go over them. I'm going to just briefly go over a quick PowerPoint presentation so that you can see the trips. And then you can ask any questions that you want. You can put them in the chat. I think the chat function is there, and I know Stephanie Clark is at the Study Abroad office, and she can also help answer any questions that we have for the application process or deadlines or anything that maybe I can't answer. But the first year experience does sponsor these programs. So these are programs that come out of my office, and as I said before, I think they're all really good. So let me share my screen. Okay, wonderful. So really what I'm going to do is just briefly go over every program and then briefly the application process, and maybe Stephanie at the end also, if she wants to jump in, she can do that to talk a little bit more about the application process. So we have 5 programs this coming semester, and they're for first year students, but because of the pandemic, first year students from last year didn't get to go on any trips. So we're also allowing sophomores on these trips just this year only. So if you have any friends who are sophomores, please encourage them also to apply. The first one that we have is Scotland. This trip has run before. It's run by 2 theater professors, and they spend the majority of their time in Edinburgh, or also pronounced Edinburgh, in Scotland, but they also go to the Highlands, and they are going to be giving you a sampling of Shakespeare's Macbeth and lots of culture in Edinburgh. And really what I probably should do is just take a step back and just say to everybody, all of these trips that you're about to see are in English. So all of the programs are in English, even if they're in Italy or in another country that doesn't speak as their main language English. All the professors, everything is going to be taught in English. And the trips take place over spring break. So they're 1-credit courses, so they meet once a week up until spring break. They meet once a week for 50 minutes, and they're all themed. And you get 1 credit optional elective. You get 1 elective credit for those classes. So it does not count, very important, this does not count for the first year experience program. And if you go over 15 credits, then you're going to have to pay for that 1 credit on your bill. But if you're under 15 credits, 15 or below, then you don't have to pay for the 1 credit. So I just wanted to get that out there. And we can go over some of the details after I go over the program. So we have this first one in Scotland. And what I like to say to students is, really, I would pick whatever of these 5 programs most interests you. It doesn't mean you have to be a theater major. It doesn't mean you have to be a geology major. Just pick whatever looks exciting and interesting to you. It'll be a great way to get to know the country, to get to know the culture, to get to know the theme, because they all are themed, and give you an idea and a taste of study abroad for the future. So this first one, again, is Scotland, led by 2 professors. On our website, on the First Year Experience website, they also have a blog, so you can look at previous students, and maybe Stephanie could put in the chat the link to our page from the First Year Experience, or I can do that later for the students so that they can see these programs and the blogs and some extra information that some professors have put up. Okay, so our next program that we have is Copenhagen. This one is taught by Dr. Chris Corey. He's a biology professor, and he's especially interested in human health and diseases, and genetics also really interesting. But they're going to be looking at the pandemic through the lens of the Danish medical system. And you're going to be based in Copenhagen. I'm sure they're going to have a few side trips too. I love Scandinavia. I've been to Copenhagen several times. So if you're especially interested in the Nordic countries and in science, I would highly recommend this one. And then this is the one to Iceland that I said that I got to go on. Actually, the middle picture that you see of the lava tunnel, I took that picture, so that was pretty cool. Great trip, led by Dr. Cass Runyon. She is a geology professor. And so this trip has run before. And by the way, the Copenhagen one has run, all of them, I believe, have run in some form or another before. This one is also very popular. If you're interested in, you gotta want to hike, be able to hike a little bit on this one. You're going to do a glacier. You're going to hike on a glacier. You're going to go in the lava tunnel. And you have to be able to know that it's going to be cold because it's Iceland in March. But you will have the chance of seeing the aurora borealis. We didn't get to see it, but every student that went on this trip absolutely loved it. They're seniors now. The first time we ran it, I believe those students are now seniors. So you might even see some of them around campus. So that's a good one. And if you're interested in geology, even better. But you're going to learn about the culture, etc. That, just a point of note, that is our most expensive trip because it's all inclusive. All of your meals and everything are included. Other trips, some of your meals are included, but Iceland is a very expensive country to begin with. So just so you know, that is the more expensive one of our options. We now have the soccer experience, the UK soccer experience. And this one it's our longest running FYE. Students also love this one. You're going to be spending the majority of your time in London. The flyer it's correct on our website, but unfortunately they're not going to go to Edinburgh this year due to the pandemic and funding. It's just too complicated. This is our least expensive trip. The professors have really done a good job at getting the price down. Students love it. You get to see actual soccer matches. You learn about the different, the business aspect of soccer. If you're just interested in London and the UK, I also recommend it. This is a great trip. Italy, this is Let's Eat in Italy and write about it too. So if you're interested a little bit, obviously in food, and most of us are, I am. This is a great trip. This professor has done a version of this as a summer course for many years. And he's also a writer, Brett Lott. He's a very famous author who was even an Oprah Winfrey Book Club author. But don't let that intimidate you. Very down to earth. And I know that this program has been very, very popular in the past, and you're going to be mostly based in Tuscany and Umbria. There's an Oaks course. I think you all know about it because you've probably seen it when you signed up for this virtual study abroad fair. If you want to learn more about the process, there is an Oaks course that you can sign up for. And CIE, and Stephanie is from CIE, the Center for International Education. They can also help you with virtual advising. I believe you might also be able to go in person too. Is that correct, Stephanie?
That is, yes. We have appointments. You can schedule an appointment either virtually via Zoom or actually in person.
Okay, good. Anything else that I should tell them about this advising or the Oaks?
So the Study Abroad 101, it actually encompasses all the different types of program offered here at the College of Charleston. So there are 3 types of programs. There are the faculty-led programs, which include the FYET courses. There are exchange programs, and then there's also affiliate courses or programs. So the Study Abroad 101 goes into the different modules, explaining the different types of courses, what they are, programs, I should say, not courses, how you will get your credits, financial aspects, all those different nuances when you're thinking of study abroad as an umbrella.
Okay, great. And the most important thing is that if you're interested in any of these programs, you need to sign up and create an account with this via TRM. And that's how you actually sign up for the program. So you have to create an account. The program prices are on each of the individual course via TRM, and the link that we have there for the study abroad, also for the first year experience. If you click on the apply here, it will tell you for most of them the price of the courses. And it can be a little daunting to sign up, but once you get in, it's really easy and user friendly. And I know that Stephanie can help and the office can help. Stephanie, any other tips about signing up and creating an account?
So you're going to be using your CFC email address. So it's going to actually then be able to put a lot of that information already for you once you hit the apply button. When you create the account, it's going to ask you a few questions in order to help you match to an appropriate program. You don't necessarily have to worry about that as much. But once you get to the actual website and you can go to the programs, you can then search for the FYE programs under spring break. There are different tags on the left-hand side that you can choose to filter the programs. And if you put in that spring break 2022 tag, you'll be able to see all of these FYE programs.
Some students, I believe, sometimes like to apply for one or two programs just in case they want to put their second choice. They can do that, correct?
So what we ask students to do is the one program that you would like to attend, you actually submit that application. And then if there's a second choice, if for whatever reason you are not able to participate in that program, but you do still want to study abroad, we ask you to either start an application but not submit it, so it'll be an incomplete status, or after we email you saying thank you for submitting your application, you can let us know what your second choice is, and that way we can have that in our notes for your file. And if for whatever reason that program's not running, we can then ask you if you still would like to be in that second program. But there are a minimum amount of students that are, we need a minimum amount of students for the program. So we do ask you to only submit your application for the one program that you would like to attend. That way we have a good understanding of the numbers for each program.
Makes sense, yeah. And I think sometimes some students ask about the billing, and it's my understanding that a small application fee is folded into the application process.
So the program fee for each program is not included with your tuition. That program fee is going to be due in your spring e-bill. So that goes through the treasurer's office. You'll see it in your e-bill, and it will include that $50 application fee. You will not see that separately on your e-bill unless you submit to the program, are accepted to the program, and then you decide to withdraw. If you do that, you will definitely see that $50 application fee on there, along with any fees that are unrecoverable depending on when you withdraw. And we have a financial agreement form that you will have to complete in order to be fully accepted into the program. So the first part of this is that you need to submit your application. We review you for disciplinary clearance because all students do need to have disciplinary, a good record on disciplinary in order to go on these programs. And then also faculty will review your applications. Once everybody gives the green light, we conditionally accept you in via TRM. During that time, we send you a conditional acceptance email. In that email, there will be a writable PDF form that is the financial agreement that goes over understanding of what you're actually going to be charged for in the spring semester. So that talks about the fact of what the program fee is, if it includes airfare, if it doesn't include airfare, what the withdrawal fees would be if you withdraw from the program, those things like that. we are going to ask you to physically sign that form and submit that into via TRM. And once you do that, then you are accepted into the program. But because these programs do need a minimum number of students, we will then provide you another email once we have the minimum amount, which is 10 students. So how many people are accepted into the program? That's a really great question, Ava. It really depends on the program, but what the major part is that we need that minimum number. We need that 10 students. And yes, so it's between 10 to 20.
Yeah, we really don't want to go over 20 because these are first year experience opportunities, but we do need a minimum of 10. Yeah. Yes, it's a great way to meet other students also and to have something planned for your spring break. I really, if you're trying to pitch it to your parents, that's you're getting a credit for it. But yeah, get back to the billing. So you're not going to be billed until your spring bill comes out in December. So you have some time, like Stephanie was saying, there's some steps. So if you're pretty sure you want to do it, I would go ahead and complete the application because you're still going to have to then complete the financial part. And some of these programs do fill up. So the sooner that you sign up, the better. And October 15th is the deadline. What other questions? You could throw them in chat or you can unmute yourself. I tried to hit on the ones that I could think of.
One thing that
there's
vaccinations required to apply.
That's a good question.
That is a very, very good question. At the College of Charleston, we are not requiring students, we are highly suggesting, but we are not requiring students to have vaccinations to be on campus. Now, in order to enter into the country, there may be certain requirements that you have to have. And that also includes in order to do some of the activities in the different locations, because in public spaces, especially in Europe right now, they're asking everybody to have a green pass. And how you get a green pass is if you have a vaccination card or if you have a negative COVID-19 test every single day. So if you are not vaccinated and you are able to participate on the program, it will be your responsibility to pay and to obtain a negative or a COVID test before you are able to participate on any of the activities due to the government in that country saying that you need a negative test in order to go. So
basically, I mean,
yes.
It doesn't really make sense not to be vaccinated and to go on one of these programs, because if you weren't vaccinated, it would be so difficult to get that test every day, to pay for it. Yeah, so I would highly recommend that you get vaccinated. We can't require it because the College of Charleston isn't requiring it, but your whole trip will, and some of the countries are now, I think some are even requiring to get in. It depends. It's changing all the time too.
It's changing daily, yeah. So
depending on the country.
Depending on the country, depending on the requirements. Right now, you still need a negative COVID-19 test to get into the United States. So even if you are vaccinated, that is something that will have to occur. So there's a lot of details that have to go in with COVID, but it is a lot easier and it will be a lot beneficial if you are vaccinated.
Yes, definitely. The question about scholarships, that's a very good question. In general, it's a little harder to get scholarship money for first year experience because you don't have the credits necessary for some, because you're just starting out for some scholarships. However, some students who are that maybe meet some other, they have some dual enrollment credits, maybe they're a minority student, there are some scholarships available. And I know, Stephanie, there's a link right on your page about some of these scholarships. Do you want to talk more about that? Because it's a really good question.
So for freshman students who have no CFC credit, the scholarships, and I'm going to just put it into the chat, the via TRM site, and that's what you need in order to apply for the programs. But with regards to scholarships, you do need to have at least 12 credit hours from the College of Charleston at the time of the application. So if you are a sophomore, or if you are if you
Oh, that's
have those
true. Yeah.
credits,
Yeah.
you actually can apply. So let me pull up the scholarship website. Perfect. Okay. So underneath all of the VIA TRM applications, there is a section that's called scholarships. And in there, it talks about what scholarships are available, and it provides you this link. So this speaks of when scholarships, so spring break is in spring. Um, so those scholarships are due October 5th, and then what you need to do for that. Now, one of the things for all College of Charleston scholarships, you have to have an Academic Works login page, and you need to sign in with that. So even if you are not doing a study abroad scholarship, but you have maybe a business scholarship that you're trying to apply for, you do need to create an account on Academic Works. So you would need to sign in. Once you sign in, it's going to make you do a general application. In that general application, it's going to ask you if you're looking to study abroad. When you select that and complete that, you will get to another section that has more applications for you to fill out. If you are filling out only a scholarship for the study abroad program, the travel scholarship is the only one that you need to do. You may see up to 5 different other applications that you have to complete. You only need to complete the travel one for study abroad. Once you complete the travel one, these scholarships will no longer say deadline, it'll have an apply button. And then you can apply for that scholarship through the Academic Works site. But you have to do the general scholarship, and then you have to complete the travel scholarship forms before you can actually get to the scholarships that are specifically for study abroad. And in these are the ones that you would see here on all the opportunities. These are the ones that are requiring a reference. So I know that some students get confused that they complete an alumni application because it's also in the same section with the travel. But the only time you need to submit references for the study abroad is actually when you're clicking on the specific scholarship for a study abroad program. And I know that's really confusing. We have a form and we're here to help you with this process. But one thing to know for certain is that for any scholarship at the College Charleston, you do need to have this Academic Works account. And one other quick thing that I want to mention is that everybody will need a passport in order to study abroad. Passport services are currently taking 18 weeks in order for a renewal or to get a new passport. So if your passport is expiring shortly, or if you need to apply for a passport for the very first time, we highly recommend that you start applying for that now. And we have a passport service office in our mail services on campus. So that is something that you can do here on campus. Another thing to note is for the port of entry, when you enter into a foreign country, normally they require you to have 6 months of valid time on your passport in order for you to enter. So that means that if you're going in March and your passport expires in May, you may have issues at the port of entry in order to get into the country. So I always like to tell students, for travel purposes, your passport is actually only good for about 9.5 years because you do need 6 months in order once you enter the country, even if you are spending a shorter amount of time. Now, for some countries, that's not necessarily the case, but for a large majority of them, that is the case. So looking at your passport now and looking at that expiration date is very, very important.
So
So
Stephanie, we have a couple of questions kind of related to that in the chat and also related to the scholarships. Very quickly, we'll do since you're just talking about passports, how do you put in a request to renew the passport?
but it's usually through mail services. So the postal services, unless you have to go to a center. But we have a center here on campus, and there are certain forms that you need to complete and documents that you need to have. That can vary depending on what your individual case is. So I'm going to provide the link, and that way you can review that on your own.
Sometimes it just, all it requires is filling out the form and sending your old passport in, correct? And then,
As long as you were 18 when you got your first, or for that
gotcha.
passport. So
So it might be, yeah,
if you were under the age of 18, then the process is different for renewing.
okay. And the other question is, the student was just clarifying who is eligible for these scholarships. It's just like
if you have 12, so as of right now, on September 8th of 2021, do you have 12 credits of CFC? So not from any.
But not the current ones, 12 credits that you've already done.
Earned, yes. On your transcripts, they have 3 next to it. It's not in progress.
But not in progress. I think maybe that was the question I see, Ava, now. Yeah, not the ones that you're currently enrolled in. So some students do come in with dual enrollment credits. Do those count?
So well, I've been told that it is only for C of C credit.
Okay, all right, that's good.
And I just sent in the link from travelstate.gov on how to apply. And if you scroll down, it does explain that I already have a passport, I need a passport, I want a form rush passport. So here's the thing. The rush passport is more expensive, and it's right now passports are taking about 18 weeks. I need it even faster in less than 12 weeks. Restrictions apply. What I've heard from colleagues regarding getting a rush passport is that you're going, instead of 18 weeks, it's going to be about 10 to 12. So it's still going to take a while.
Okay, well, this was, I think it was a good session. Thank you all, and I hope you all get to go on some of these trips. It was really nice meeting you.